Salutations. I'm Eris. It proved to be an arduous experience when I unearthed the unsettling truth about my spouse, Evan, engaging in infidelity. Evan and I shared 5 years of companionship before tying the knot. We embodied the cliché high school sweethearts destined for a joyful culmination. Alas, our narrative took an abrupt turn, a sharp deviation, when I stumbled upon evidence of Evan's transgression through a concerned employee. For the sake of privacy, I've opted to recount my tale using pseudonyms. Evan's employees disclosed his unfaithfulness, and for a fortnight, I grappled with the shocking revelation. Initially incredulous, Evan eventually validated the claims when he broached the subject of divorce one faithful day. Stunned and bewildered, I sought answers from Evan. His response was stark. Love had abandoned him. Despite his denial of the affair, I had irrefutable evidence. Although he aspired for an amicable parting, I couldn't permit him to evade accountability after investing numerous years into our relationship. Too much time had been devoted, and I was resolute in not squandering any more on someone who breached my trust. The considerations outlined in the prenuptial agreement merit complication, Eris. However, let's streamline the process. Adherence to the prenup need not be rigid. We possess the capacity to negotiate independently. I comprehend Evan's hesitancy to delve into the matter. The prenuptial agreement emerged from his desire to shield against potential infidelity and secure fidelity on my part. I concurred, harboring no intentions of betrayal, deeming the terms equatable. Little did Evan anticipate that he would eventually be the transgressor. Now ensnared in a predicament, yearning to unite with his new partner, who incidentally bears a striking resemblance to a supermodel, Evan's affair kindled anger in me rather than sorrow. Evan aspired to wrest any positions rightfully mine, but I stood my ground. I made it clear that I would claim what was due to me, armed with evidence and a commitment to the prenup. Despite his desire for an amicable separation, I refused to relent. I reminded him of the prenup, exposing his extramarital affair. His threats notwithstanding, I stood firm. As Evan departed, I grappled with a mix of anger and sadness, realizing I had chose the wrong partner in life. Enduring 5 years of misplaced love, I refused to let Evan dictate my destiny. Taking matters into my own hands, I promptly contacted Frances. My mother-in-law, a remarkable individual, unlike her affluent son, possesses a moral compass that guides her interactions with love and respect, initially perplexed about our divorce. Frances, a beacon of moral integrity, trusted everyone with kindness, expressing confusion about the dissolution of our marriage. Frances endeavored to mediate, unaware of the complete narrative due to my reluctance to disclose childhood trauma stemming from parental abandonment. Relocating eventually, Frances, though saddened, directed her ire toward Evan for initiating the divorce, defying his expectation of maternal support. A startling revelation ensued. In a state of panic, Frances contacted me, divulging distressing information about Evan that she recently discovered. Insistent on a face-to-face conversation, Frances uttered, "Eris, there's something I need to share about Evan." Expecting details of infidelity, I was taken aback by Frances's disclosure. She had learned the day before, as Evan confessed to her, armed with evidence provided by an employee, the truth had finally come to light. Unaware of our impending divorce, Frances expressed her remorse. Distraught, she questioned her parenting, fearing she had erred in the raising of her son. Witnessing Frances's distress saddened me. She didn't deserve to be entangled in Evan's deceit. Frances, a motherly figure to me, almost a second mother, faced the prospect of being torn between loyalty in her son and support for me during the divorce. A reassuring moment unfolded, alleviating my concern. I confronted Frances, assuring her that she was not to blame. The situation was not her fault. You're an exceptional mother, Frances, I assured her. Despite her uncertainty, she responded, No, you don't understand. There's something else bothering me, and it's challenging to discuss. I fear you might think less of me and my family. I reassured her, saying, Frances, I won't pass judgment. Whatever Evan does is not your responsibility. If there's more you want to share, feel free to confide in me. That's when Frances unveiled a startling revelation. Eris, my son is acting irrationally. He intends to set you up and have you arrested. I was taken aback. Evan was orchestrating a plan to have me arrested, complete with intricate details. It felt like a scene from a suspenseful thriller. Had I misjudged Evan when we first met? Frances's words heightened my apprehension. Evan planned to conceal money in my new residence, and then involve the police. He believed this scheme would safeguard his assets during the divorce, exploiting the loophole in the prenuptial agreement that invalidated it under a shared responsibility for the separation. He shared his plan with you, presuming you'd keep his secret. It's perplexing how misguided he could be. Why he expected my support, Eris, is beyond me. I'm here for you. What my son did, what he's attempting to do, is not right. I feel truly sorry. Frances, no need for apologies. Thank you for confiding in me. You're a person of integrity. Thank you for sharing everything. Even though he's your son, I don't want to lose you after the divorce. You're like a mother to me. Eris, you're like a daughter to me too. Evan can go kick rocks. I don't want you ensnared in his schemes. Promise me you'll protect yourself. Don't worry, Frances. I'm not one to be trifled with. Now armed with the knowledge of Evan's plans, I'll turn the tables on him. I shared my counterplan with Frances, who seemed satisfied. I had feared she might resist protecting her son, but to my surprise, she gave her approval with her blessing. To execute my strategy, some shopping was in order. I procured cameras online to establish a CCTV surveillance in my abode, complementing the existing system in the common areas with the assistance of a friend. Waiting for Evan to make his move, I installed the cameras. One day, Evan arrived to discuss the divorce, offering a feasible excuse. In the kitchen, I played along, pretending to buy into his narrative. Observing discreetly, I witnessed him surreptitiously placing something in my desk drawer. I smiled, choosing not to confront him, allowing him to believe in my obliviousness. After Evan's departure, my cameras captured everything. Reviewing the footage, I confirmed he had planted evidence in my work desk. I refrained from checking in person to maintain my stance with authorities. Unaware of the financial aspect until I checked my phone, Frances, my exceptional mother-in-law, proved to be right. Evan had concealed his cash in my work desk. Grateful for the warning, I was furious at Evan's deceit. If she hadn't spoke up, I wouldn't have proof of my innocence. I discreetly saved the footage and waited for Evan's next move. The following day, the cops showed up at my door with Evan. I greeted them, and Evan, feigning surprise, asking how I could help. The officer explained that Evan believed I had stolen $1,200 from his house. 3 weeks ago, I asserted my innocence, stating I didn't take any cash and abhorred stealing. Evan accused me of citing past behavior during our marriage. The officers, unwilling to rush, listened to both sides. Evan grew impatient, accusing me of theft. I defended myself by expressing my disdain for stealing. Evan insisted I stole his money, citing a secret drawer in the house. The officer turned to me asking if I knew anything about the money. Evan looked confident, expecting my arrest. However, I calmly told the cops that Evan was in for a surprise. I'll help you find the money and expose who took it. It won't take long. I have strong proof, Mom. If you have evidence, please share it. We don't want to accuse you without a reason. Officers, she's not telling the truth. She took my money because I'm divorcing her, and she's trying to deceive you. I recommend you arrest her right away. We'll handle the situation properly, sir. As the lady has offered to prove her innocence, I need to investigate before making an arrest. Evan seemed nervous briefly, and then got angry again. The officers didn't like his impoliteness and insistence in having me arrested. I led them to my work desk and promptly showed them where the cash was. Evan's expression brightened as he gave me a sly grin. He enthusiastically declared, "Hey officers, did you catch that? She stashed my cash in her closet. You gotta take her in, that's the evidence right there." "Yeah, your money is indeed in my closet, but I'm not the culprit here. Just so you know, I got it all on camera all over my place since I live alone. I don't need anyone's approval. I can prove who actually stashed the money in my closet. If it was me, you'd spot me on the CCTV footage too." "Do you have security cameras at home?" "We don't require any videos. The money was discovered in your closet, which is enough evidence to establish your guilt. We don't need any more proof." The officers asserted we were capable of assessing the situation on our own. "Sir, please allow us to carry out our duties instead of instructing us," they added. "Ma'am, if you could show us the camera footage, please." "Sure. Take a look. I don't mind sharing what happened to the money and how it ended up here." I took out my phone and displayed a video of the previous night to the police without concerns about personal footage as I changed in my closet or bathroom. When I showed the phone to the police, Evan appeared to be panicking. He didn't know what footage I had, but he certainly wasn't lying about the cameras. After the cops watched the camera footage, they told me, "We've seen it all. You placed your camera in her closet, making it seem like you planted money to get your wife arrested. What's your explanation?" I responded, "Officers, there must be a mistake. I didn't do anything wrong. She's the one who stole money from me." The officers warned him about the possibility of arrest for unnecessary calls. Evan, looking scared, started explaining that the video showed him putting money in my closet by mistake. He desperately tried to convince the cops, but they weren't buying it. Cops turned to me and asked, "Ma'am, do you want to press charges against your husband?" I intervened, saying to officers, "We can handle this misunderstanding without involving the police, and there's no need for a report." However, the officers insisted that that was my decision. Evan, realizing the severity of his actions, turned to me with fear and anxiety. He understood that this attempt to frame me for an easy divorce had backfired, and he was now caught in his own trap. I looked at Evan and said, "Come on, we don't need to involve the cops. Let's settle this ourselves without begging for mercy." Evan replied, "Why not involve the cops, Eris? You did it first when there was no need. I have a good reason. Now you accuse me of theft and trying to ruin my reputation?" "It was a dumb mistake," I retorted. "I just wanted to even things out in the divorce. Evan, I knew I couldn't keep up the PR. Your tears and apologies meant nothing to me. Now you're getting arrested." The cops arrived. I pressed charges and Evan was handcuffed and taken away. Evan began to cry and beg for mercy. I, however, felt no sympathy, having discovered his affair after the ordeal. I called Frances to inform her, cautioning her about potential consequences. I told the cops everything. "Evan will get bail, but be prepared. There's a chance he might suspect your involvement if he shows up at my house. I'll let him know what I think. Are you okay with that?" Frances replied confidently, "I'm ready for it. If he gets mad at me, so be it. I'll tell him the truth and make it clear that I was the one who informed you of his plan." "Good for me. If he stops talking to me, I don't want anything to do with him anymore. I'm completely done with Evan. If he gets upset with me for doing something good, that's his problem. His actions have made me question a few things. I'm considering changing my will." "Frances, what do you plan to do?" "I'm thinking of disinheriting him. I don't want someone who might ruin my life get their hands on my money. Plus, I can't overlook the fact that my son is involved in criminal activities. I never forgave him for betraying you. I feel grateful to have Frances as my mother-in-law. I was deeply moved when she stood up for me. Frances comforted me and promised to take me on a trip. Once the divorce was said regarding Evan's artist, I didn't take legal action instead. I used it to my advantage and swiftly got a divorce due to his RN affair. The prenup was upheld and I received over 87% of our assets. Evan lost a significant amount of money and covered my lawyer's fees as per the prenup. In the end, Evan was severely affected by his own schemes. He also ended his relationship and his affair partner after she scolded him for losing money to me. Although unintentional, this added to my sense of satisfaction. Frances and Evan are no longer on speaking terms, not by my design, and they only see each other at family events following the announcement of our divorce and the revelation of Evan's affair leading to his arrest. He experienced significant repercussions. Evan endured the loss of multiple family members, and his actions were labeled as terrible. He was promptly isolated, enduring ongoing criticism. Even post-divorce in a heated disagreement with Frances, she disassociates herself from him. Evan had lost his mother, wife, and a mistress in a short span, now finds himself alone, working hard to restore both his finances and his reputation. However, after my divorce, things started looking up for me. I became wealthier, just as Frances had assured us. We had a fantastic 2 weeks in Florida, which brought us closer. Now, 2 years later, we're gearing up for another adventure in Italy, despite not jumping back into dating yet because of my ongoing mental health journey with therapy. Life is treating me well. I'm using this period to unwind, explore myself, and savor the happiness of being independent once more.